What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building, and today, as y'all can see by the looks of the title and the screen, I'm going to be bringing y'all the offensive minded wing. Now, when it comes to this build, I'm telling y'all, we're going to be able to be 6'8" and get pro dribble moves on the first version. The second one, gonna be able to be 6'7" and get all of the contact dunks. So this build is getting contact dunks as well as pro dribble moves, depending on what version you decide to make. The first one is actually my own making. This is the very first build that I put out all year. The second one coming from Uncle Demi, but I went ahead and made a couple of my own adjustments to this build. Badge count gonna be a little bit different. The height, weights, and wingspan, everything that goes into it is gonna be a little bit different, and especially the physical pie chart. But now, man, before we get into the making, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Now, if y'all looking to join the RGF family, go ahead and turn on post notifications, but go ahead and also drop a like button. Let's go ahead and get 25 likes on this video. Now, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown. So first, you want to go ahead and put this build under the small forward position. That's going to be crucial when it comes down to making this build. Then from there, what you want to go ahead and do for the first version, that's going to be 6'8" with the pro dribble moves. Go ahead and pick the pure playmaking pie chart. Now, when it comes to the second version, this is all going to be a huge difference when it comes down to it. So nothing like the second version is going to be like the first. So when it comes down to the physical profile, normally I would go with the fourth one, but we want to be the fastest possible on this build. So go ahead and pick the very first one. Now, keep in mind, when it does come down to these badge counts, they are going to be completely different from each of these two builds that I'm going to be bringing y'all. Both of them are going to be called the offensive-minded wing, but the difference is the badge counts, the stats, the heights, the weights, the wingspans, and the physical profiles, as well as the main pie chart. So when it comes down to the finishing, go ahead and put that close shot to an 83, max out your driving layup as well as your driving dunk, and then put that standing dunk to a 27 for 4 badges. Now, when it comes down to the shooting, go ahead and put that mid-range maxed out. Same thing with the three-pointer, max out that free throw and put that post fade to a 41. Then from here, we're going to go ahead and get into the playmaking, max out your ball handle, go ahead and put the pass accuracy to an 82. If you go anything higher than this, trying to get 28, 29, or 30 playmaking badges, the build name is going to change up to a slashing playmaker. So if you want that build, go ahead and make it, but I'm telling you, not worth it in my opinion. Now, when it comes down to the defense, max out the first 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 categories when it comes to the interior defense all the way down to the block. Then when it comes down to the defensive rebound, max that out, put the offensive to a 38, and that's going to give us 9 badges right here. Now, as you can see right here, if you want to, you can go ahead and put this build to where you get 11 shooting badges. Then from here, you could go ahead and put the rest of those stats into the defense, and that's going to give us 10 defensive badges. Now, it really comes down to whether or not you want to get 12 shooting badges or maintain the 10 defensive. Both versions are going to be very nice when it comes down to the build, so I would not worry or put too much thought into it. I would just go ahead and say right now, the more defensive badges, the better, so do not worry about it. Now, body shape, for this specific version of this build, I would go with slight. You're going to see why in just a moment, but when it comes down to the height, go ahead and put this build to 6'8". Now, if you want to, you could make a risk with going 6'7", but that's not what I'm going to go ahead and do. Now, when it comes down to the weight, go ahead and put this to 190. And I do that because if you go one tick higher, you're going to start getting affected when it comes down to the physicals, and we do not want that. Now, as for the wingspan, if you go ahead and take a quick look right here, we're going to go ahead and see what it looks like when you max it out. We're going to be able to get that lockdown takeover, but if you go ahead and drop it one tick from what we are given, we're still going to be able to get that lockdown takeover. And if you go to an 82.0, that is where you're able to get that sharpshooting takeover. So again, it really comes down to how you want to make this build. We have a lot of options to go through, and keep in mind, this is only the first version that I got lined up for y'all. Second one is going to be coming down with the contact dunks, and as y'all can see for this one, I'm going to be going with the lockdown takeover. And as y'all can see, we have made the offensive minded wing, but keep in mind, like I told y'all before, we got another build and version that I'm going to be bringing at y'all with the dunking. So let's go ahead and get right into it. If y'all want to go ahead and make this version, I recommend that you just go ahead and save it, start a new build, and then from here we're going to go ahead and take a couple of minor adjustments when it comes down to this build. So be sure that y'all are following along when it comes down to it. And I just want to say thank y'all so much to everybody who decided to come and show out. This build at 99 is not going to be bad, y'all. As you can see, the 3-point shot with boost, takeover, then when you consider a teammate with floor general, the 3-point shot's going to be in the 80s. Mid-range shot has the potential to easily hit the 90s, y'all. Then when it comes down to that close shot, still going to be effective when it comes down to it. So honestly, it really comes down to your play style and how you're going to be running with this build. But I'm telling you, this build is going to be one of those rare builds that you're going to be able to use in any game mode depending on what version you make. Now, when it comes down to the pie chart for this version of this build, remember, this is going to be the one with the contact dunks. Go ahead and pick the pie chart, split right down the middle evenly with the shooting as well as the blue pie chart, y'all. Finishing and the shooting, blue and green, whatever y'all want to call it. But when it comes down to the physical profile, here is where things start to change from my version and the way that Uncle Demi made it. He ended up picking the one that goes with the strength pie chart, and by all means, that is definitely going to be okay. But I'm going to go ahead and pick between the first one as well as the fourth, and I'm going to be going with that fourth because of that vertical, y'all. Now, when it comes down to these stats, the build is completely going to be looking different compared to the first version that I just showed y'all. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Close shot, going to be an 84. Then when it comes down to that driving layup, maxed out. Same thing with the driving dunk. So as you can see, it's already a 78, and we have not even adjusted the wingspan. So you already know that a lot of good is to come out of this build. Now, standing dunk, going to be a 59, 11 finishing badges, so that is going to be really solid. Then when it comes down to the mid-range shot, max it out, same thing with the three-pointer. Then right here, you could go ahead and max out that post fade or your free throw. It does not matter which one you put these stats into. It really comes down to which game mode you're going to be using more. So if you're going to be running rec or any type of 5v5, I would recommend putting on that free throw just to be more effective in those areas. Now, for the playmaking, max out the pass accuracy, ball handle, and put the post moves to a 73 for 15 playmaking badges. Then, when it comes down to the defense, perimeter defense, 69. You can't go anything higher or else you're going to change up the build name. So be sure to keep that in mind. And then when it comes down to the lateral quickness, we're going to go ahead and max this out. Our steal going to be maxed out as well. And then when it comes down to the defensive rebound, go ahead and put this to a 66. With these last remaining stats, put the rest into the block. That's going to give us 4 defensive badges. So if you're looking to make this build for the defensive side, I would recommend going ahead and making the first version. However, if you like this one, comes with a little bit more when it comes down to the finishing, still going to be effective on the shooting. So honestly, this version is going to be nice. The only thing is that we don't get the pro dribble moves, but that does not mean that we're not going to be able to dribble on this build. We actually still will be able to, so do not worry about that. Now, when it comes down to the height, we have to go with 6'7" on this build. Gonna be 1 inch shorter than the previous build. And then when it comes down to the weight, what you want to go ahead and do is drop this down all the way to the lowest to where it does not affect anything from your main stats as well as your physicals. 182 is going to be the perfect weight in order to maintain both of those. So honestly, I'm going to go ahead and leave it like that. And then when it comes down to the wingspan to get the contact dunks, y'all, max the wingspan out. I'm telling you, gonna be worth it in the long run. And then on top of all that, this build at 99 is gonna be something very serious, y'all. So at 99, you're gonna be able to get those contact dunks unlocked with boost, takeovers, and a floor general teammate. Close shot is gonna be a 99, y'all. Keep in mind, that is going to be a very cheesy thing to use on this build, especially if you're going up against the smaller guards that are trying to defend you. You're easily going to be able to get a bucket anytime you want to. So that's something to really consider when it comes down to this build. And as y'all can see, the first ever to also get the post scoring takeover, y'all. Any of these are going to be a very nice option to go with. I'm just saying right now that I am the first ever to bring y'all both of these versions together. Pro dribbles, contact dunks, but also throw in the sharpshooting takeover. And then The post scoring, never seen before. So again, I just want y'all to know that I truly appreciate y'all. And as y'all can see, we have made the offensive minded wing. Thank y'all to everybody who watched until the end. Go ahead and comment down RGF if you made it right here. But man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. To the RGF family and any new supporters, I would appreciate it if y'all went ahead and hit that like. Let's go ahead and get 25 likes on this video. Go ahead and share it with your family and friends. And last but not least, be sure to turn on post notifications so y'all can see when I upload every single day. But man, with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.